Hey, it's Snake. Now, this video was ordinarily going to be discussing the Covert Instruments Apex set, which I do have right here. This is all of the contents of the Apex Loaded toolkit. I've also got the fusion strap right here, but I underestimated the amount of time that I would need to get acquainted with all of the unique new profiles in this set, as well as figuring out what locks would be best for demonstrating some of them. I know that the gem hook works really well on medicos in my testing, and that's also something that just people in the Locksport community like to use, but I don't think I'm at the point where I can provide a comprehensive, detailed review of this set yet. And there have been some other developments that I have become aware of in the time that I have been waiting for my Apex set to come in. So this video is just going to be a quick overview of some of the really exciting new stuff that Covert Instruments has been offering that has come up on my radar. But of course, the first thing I want to talk about is the Apex set. The Apex set is finally here, and I'll be honest, I was originally going to skip this set at first. What led me to end up buying this set though was two things. Number one, this set has a whole bunch of unique profiles that, as far as I'm aware of, will not be making their appearance in the flat form factor that we have come to associate with our Genesis, Echelon, and Reaper sets. Covert Instruments has stated on their website that the Reaper set is the final set of these really thin, flat-handled picks. From here on out, we are going to be working with picks that have these plastic handles, and even though the texture may mislead you to believe that this is like a really cheap plastic of some sort at first, just because it's not necessarily rough to feel, but it looks kind of rough and whatnot. Everything in the Apex set, except for the parts that aren't, are made of a fiberglass reinforced nylon. And in my testing, this plastic handle is, oh my god, ow. Okay, yeah, that's hurting my thumbs. These plastic handles are extremely difficult to bend, let alone break. The pick shaft, of course, is made of the classic 301 high yield stainless steel that has become the new industry standard. It's not just Covert Instruments, but there are several other manufacturers that have adopted the use of 301 high yield. Unlike Peterson, who claim that their picks, which are quite similar to these in design, Peterson picks are made of what is called a government steel. And breaking news, government steel is not a thing. It is widely believed that Peterson picks are made of some 420 variety of stainless steel, which, while that can be more rigid than 301 high yield, it does not have the same amount of ultimate tensile strength. This makes it more brittle and more prone to breakage over time compared to the 301 high yield found in tools from manufacturers like Covert Instruments, Jimmy Long, and I believe Moki also makes their tools out of 301 high yield. Everything is held into these trays with magnets. We have the turners right here, which you can just press them and they will snap out like that. The only exception to this being that these ergo turners are friction fit in. And actually, there is this little plastic tab right here that puts a slight bend in the turner. You can see when you insert this corner in, this part is not actually aligned until you bring it up and do that. And that just ensures a tighter friction fit in the turning tool tray. The 3 2-in-1 turners stick to these two magnets right here, and once again, you can just press those to get them out. If I'm going to use a bottom of keyway turner from this set, what I like to do is I like to just take all three of them out because they're stacked so closely together. Take out the one I want to use and then put the other two back, and that's good to go. And then from there, I can just move this out of the way. Let me move that back to its original position and just slip it in between like that, and it stays there. A light tap will not knock these things out, but yeah, it does take kind of an act of violence to knock the turners out of this tray, but it can be done. Then again, I think if the magnets were made any stronger, it would just be impossible to take the tools back out in a quick manner. However, that is where the fusion strap comes in. This can be used to hold two trays of the Apex tools together, and it turns it into this case that is a little bit thicker, but about the same size this way as a phone, which is actually a lot smaller than I was expecting. If we compare it to a Tradecraft case like this one, it's actually only a little bit thicker and a little bit wider than the Tradecraft case. I thought these tools were going to be absolutely huge, and the Apex trays would be like a little bigger, like maybe this big or something like that, and then a lot taller and so on. But they really maximized the effectiveness of the space in these trays that you can hold the picks in. I'm not going to demonstrate the fusion strap right now because getting the trays in is really difficult, and I'm going to be here a while if I attempt it. However, that difficulty of getting the tray into the fusion strap and taking it out is by design. What I have done is I've gone into my garage with a fully loaded fusion strap with the turning tools and some of the Apex picks, and I have thrown this thing at the wall of my garage full force to the point that it puts a dent in the drywall. All right, this is a test of the Covert Instruments Synapse case. This is the turning tool tray, and I've just loaded the Evo 1 picks into it. Get that locked nice and closed. All right, giving this a good throw in 3, 2, 1. Wow, it sounds like nothing actually got dislodged in that. We're gonna do this again, 3, 2, 1. That spilled all the tools out. But the important thing is that in the actual hit, none of the tools got damaged. They just kind of spilled out and scattered. I'm going to go ahead and put these back. As you can see, even though all the tools came spilling out, none of them are looking any worse for the wear. And I'm pretty sure this dent in the drywall was not there before. Whoops. Okay, I think we're just gonna do this one more time with a simple drop. 3, 2, 1. Tools came flying out again because it hit the joint, I believe. Yeah, so you don't want to hit stuff on this edge because it will kind of push it out and allow stuff to go flying. But wow, all of the turning tools stayed in except for one. Yep, there's that turning tool that came out. And checking up on all the picks, they look to be in the exact same condition. So the case just protected them from that initial impact, and from there, you can just go and pick them up and you're good to go. That's pretty good considering the fact that I was quite unkind to this case with the fusion strap. Nothing gets bent, nothing gets damaged. Overall, just a really simple yet solid design for a case. Besides the turning tool tray, the Apex line also comes with 4 different evolutions, as they are calling them. I'm just gonna give a quick overview of those right here. Evolution 1 is the exact same as the Genesis profiles, except it also includes this deep hook. If we compare the medium hook to the deep hook, provided my webcam will focus, you will see that the deep hook actually has a little bit more lift than the medium hook and a slightly sharper curvature as well. I'm not sure what lock I'm going to use this deep hook in yet. I might consider using it in my ASA 700. As I slide this through the keyway, it does touch the pins, but only slightly, which might be good for something or another. I don't know, but it's very neat that we're seeing another deep hook besides the one that comes in the Reaper set. So evolution number 1 is just the Genesis profiles plus a deep hook, all in 25 thou. Evolution 2 is the same as evolution 1. These are the exact same profiles, but they have these OD green handles, which denote that the pick is going to be in 20 thou. And on a stream that Robert Pingor did with Lady Locks, he did say that they have gray handles in planning, which will denote picks that are 15 thou thick. And Lockpicking Lawyer has mentioned that there will be a 4th color in addition to that, which I'm not sure what that is supposed to represent. However, on Covert Instruments channel, Tony Varelli did mention that the Apex line will eventually be updated with bypass tools, like those that you would find in the Arbiter set. So maybe the 4th color for the Apex picks will denote bypass tools. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not an insider in Covert Instruments like some of these other people are. I just watch the news very closely, and I'm here to let you know what I've seen. Evolution number 3 is also all in 20 thou, and it is what I call the specialty hooks. We have a shallow hook, which is very similar to profile number 1 from the Reaper set. A gentle reach. This is the same gentle reach that was present in the Echelon. However, as you can see by this green handle, it is in 20 thou instead of 25. This profile is called the DeForest Diamond, which is not like much anything I've seen before, particularly from Covert Instruments, but a lot of lock sporters seem to like this profile. Lockpicking Lawyer in his overview said that this is really good for wide open keyways, so something like in my Packlock 98 Pro, but I still have yet to master picking locks with the DeForest Diamond, and this is one of the reasons why I said I would need more time with this set before I do my proper review. The fourth pick in Evo 3 is the Gem Hook, which is basically just a short hook, but the tip is a point instead of being flat. Like I said, this is really good for opening medicos, because when you run the gem alongside the chisel tip of the key pin, it just creates a really solid grip on the side of the pin, regardless of which way you're going. So the point makes it really easy to push and pull the pins to get them to the correct rotation. Anytime I want to pick my medicos now, I usually reach for this gem hook first, although sometimes I'll still use a short hook on this cam lock because the sliders are quite low down, and the gem hook will still touch them even if I'm using top of the keyway tension. And the final profile in Evo 3 is the Reaper deep hook. As you can see, it's got that cutout behind the tip that recesses downwards. This is a lot better for extreme biddings, and this is just the same deep hook that was found in the Reaper set, profile number 5. And finally, we have evolution number 4. This is what I call the specialty rakes category. We have the McTickler, and then a double McTickler, which is really good for zipping and then switching to single pin picking. The theory behind this profile is that you apply top of the keyway tension. It's almost like a Bogota in certain ways, but you use these 3 peaks to zip the pins into something like a falset. And then this tip at the end of the pick is distinct enough and raised high enough in front of the other 2 peaks that you can then immediately switch to single pin picking without having to pick up another one of your tools. This third profile is known as Nessie, and it operates on a very similar principle. It's a double-sided pick basically. So you can see that there is a triple peak rake on one side and then a hook tip on the other. What you do is you take your lock that you're attacking and you use the rake on one side to zip into whatever position you want, or you can just rake it open. But once you find that you have raked the lock to the extent that it's not gonna get you any further progress, you can simply just flip the pick over like that, and then switch to single pin picking. We have a double peak rake. This is similar to the double peak rake that you find in the Echelon set, but interestingly enough, the 2 peaks are actually not as aggressive as in the Echelon set. The Echelon double peak rake has peaks that go about as high as those on the quad rake. This Apex double peak rake actually has lift height and spacing that is closer to that of the Quint rake, which I find really interesting. I'm not sure why Covert Instruments made this change to the double peak rake in the Apex, but you know what? I'm not going to argue with it, because even when I had my Echelon set, I didn't really know how to make the greatest use of the double peak rake. I'll leave someone else who also has these tools in their possession and has more expertise on that than me to let me know if this makes any kind of difference, or if this can do all of the same things that the Echelon double peak rake can do. And finally, we have a dimple rake. This is the exact same dimple rake that can be found as an SSF expansion for the Covert Companion, as well as in the Echelon set. Here I have a nestling shutter lock, and I don't even need to apply a turner for this. I can just insert the dimple rake, jiggle it around, give it a few twists, and hopefully, if I do this right, it's actually a little easier to do it like that. There we go. And we got it open. This dimple rake will eat through any lower security dimple locks with only standard pins and stuff like that like it's nothing. So that is a very quick overview and first look at the entire Apex line so far. I am quite excited to see what other tools they have in the tuck, and all of the trays can be stacked, and if you line them up, they will snap together. There we go. And now these two are not coming apart. We can do the same with this tray right here, stack it on top of the others, snap the edges in, those are firmly stuck together, get this one on, and finally the turning tool tray goes on top. The turning tool tray does have to go on top when you're stacking the trays, because I think the way these ergo turners stick up prevents the other side from sitting on top of it properly and locking in. But it's really cool that all of the Apex trays stack and snap together like this, because this means that when I'm not using them, I can just display them like this. And then when it comes time to start picking, I can just grab the trays and separate them, and it will be good to go. And Tony Varelli on Covert Instruments channel has stated that they are planning to make a lid for this tray stack, which I was going to ask for in this video, but I already watched the video on Covert Instruments channel only for them to reveal that that is going to be a thing. I am super grateful for that, because this is honestly my preferred way to just have my Apex picks stored. I found the Fusion strap, while it's really cool for carrying the tools on the go, I already have a Covert Companion and Slim Pickings in my pocket, and those are just far more convenient. This is kind of limiting because the most you can really carry is the turning tool tray and 5 picks. If I were to stuff this into my bag, it would be really nice to have a lid on top, so then I don't have to worry about the contents of the bag interacting with this open face on the tray stack and knocking all the turning tools loose. And of course, on the back of every pick tray, there is this hole which accepts, for the time being, this is just a logo puck made of the same fiberglass reinforced nylon. You insert it like that, getting all the notches lined up, and then you just turn it, and it clicks into place, and now it's not coming out. But Covert Instruments have already announced plans to include further expansions that create a modular system that fits with all of the Apex trays and picks. It's just really cool, and that is why I ultimately decided that I was going to get Apex loaded when it dropped. There's already so much more potential in the Apex system than what they had with their previous 301 high yield tools. The trifold Garrison case is really cool, but it can only fit a certain number of tools in it before it starts to get fully packed. It is definitely much thinner than a stack of Apex trays if compactness and fitting in your pocket is a concern, but the amount of things that I see Covert Instruments being able to build with this type of system it just tickles my brain. Covert Instruments, hit me up if you need design ideas. I'm a big fan of your stuff. Please, let me know when the next round of recruitment for the roundtable is open. Anyway, that is the quick overview and first look at the Apex set. Review coming whenever I put in the time to get acquainted with everything that is newly introduced, like all of those new profiles. The other exciting new thing that I want to talk about is the expansions for the fidget picks. In my butterfly comb video, I mentioned that the 6-tooth comb came in 25 thou, but they didn't have one in 16 thou that could comb open this Master Lock 6271. Well, since that video, I have taken this butterfly comb apart and installed something new that Covert Instruments sent to me, and now the butterfly comb is in fact capable of combing the Master Lock 6271 open. How is this possible? Well, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. I actually received this letter from Covert Instruments sometime between when I ordered my butterfly comb and when I ordered the next thing we're going to talk about. Dear valued customer, thank you for purchasing one of our butterfly combs. We're thrilled to have had your support from the beginning. Since its launch, we've worked to expand the functionality of the butterfly comb. Our latest enhancements include the addition of jiggler picks, a 16 thou 6-tooth comb, and an improved spacing 4-tooth comb. At Covert Instruments, we pride ourselves on delivering the highest quality tools and customer service. Instead of reserving these upgrades for new orders, we wanted to extend them to you, our early adopters, as a token of our appreciation. We hope these new inserts enhance your tool and provide even greater value. Thank you for being part of the Covert Instruments community. We are grateful for your support. Sincerely, the Covert Instruments team. I don't know what to say to that. This is just a really cool thing. They mentioned reserving these expansions for new orders, so I'm assuming that if you order a butterfly comb right now as I speak, you will automatically get these expansions. Maybe I will check Covert Instruments website real quick to see if I'm getting that right. Yes, if you order a butterfly comb right now, it will not only come with the 3 comb picks that I described in my original review, but it will also include a 6-pin 16 thou comb and 3 jiggler pick profiles, which are the same jigglers that you can find in the Covert Companion and the Misfit toy set. And the other cool new thing that has dropped, Do you notice something different about this Grav Pick? Huh. This Grav Pick has a McTickler on it. It's almost like Covert Instruments watched my review and saw what I had to say at the very end.
Oh, by the way, if anyone at Covert Instruments is watching this and they have access to the design team to influence their ideas, please give us the Reaper profiles as an expansion for the Grav Pick. More specifically, I want to put the McTickler in this thing.
Yes. The Reaper expansion for the Grav Pick is now here. For just 12 extra bucks, you can get all 5 of the Reaper profiles and install them into your Grav Pick. I've kept the box and put the Reaper profiles in here as well. There's one of them. I believe this is the deep hook. And then the rest of them are also just in this slot where the Grav Pick used to be. And I was right. With the bottom of keyway tensioner, the McTickler absolutely slays locks that the Grav Pick would otherwise require top of the keyway tension to get into. As you can see, this is a Master Lock 576. The McTickler's low profile is perfect for slipping under the pins with bottom of keyway tension. I just need to hunt for the binder. Hold on, let's try this again. The sprung actuator in the 576 makes this a little weird. There we go, we got it open. So the Reaper expansion for the Grav Pick allows you to do stuff with just it and the included turner that I believe would not have otherwise been possible. In fact, if you will allow me to do one more demonstration, this is my Master Lock Magnum M930, which has the coveted 10 out of 10 security rating according to Master Lock. Yeah. Can you say that one more time, Master Lock? 10 out of 10 security where? And let's do that one more time so you can see that that was, in fact, not a fluke. Master Lock, fix your shit, please. Let's see, is there anything else I wanted to talk about? Oh yeah, I did get a replicant, and I also need more time to get the experience with that. I plans to use the key impressioning to get this Quickset Smart Key 3 open because I still have not gotten a piece of shim stock and cut it out to tension the sidebar on this thing. But after multiple failed attempts, this is the best I was able to get. As you can see, there's a bit of a hole in the front right there, which it does work and it does unlock the lock, but I want to be able to get the perfect casting before I make any content with this thing so that I can tell you all how the process went, what I learned, and how I was eventually able to get it nailed down. I will need to buy some more reload kits for this though, probably, because while the metal can be remelted for reuse, every time you cast a key, it bakes some of the Sculpey clay that is kept in the clamshell, and that just results in a not fun time when it comes to running out of the clay. So hopefully I'll be able to figure this out at some point and make a comprehensive overview on how not to make the same screw-ups that I've been doing throughout this entire learning process. And the final thing that I would like to note, if you go to all products on Covert Instruments and you sort by date new to old, not only do they have a whole bunch of merch, some of which I am actually considering getting, they have also gotten the Locksport trainer back in stock, and this time it is going to be loaded with Packlock 90 Alpha cylinders because they were just having a lot of difficulties getting the supplies that they wanted at the rates that they needed from Master Lock. And they have a new retention patch and a lockpick display stand. This thing will display all of your Genesis picks, and it's especially good if you have an engraved set from the Chop Shop. And this retention patch has made a couple of appearances in McNally's videos. You can see him using this to store the fidget picks on the front of a Tradecraft case, but as you can see here, it can also be used to store something like a Covert Companion and a Slim Pickings or Slim Tickler. So yeah, those are some of the new offerings from Covert Instruments that have hit the market ever since the last video I made on their stuff. Again, I'm really sorry that I didn't get to do the full Apex review this weekend, but I underestimated the amount of time that I will need to spend with this toolkit to be able to fully appreciate everything that goes into it. And I want to be able to get you guys that good content, not just something I rushed out because it was very soon after it dropped and very soon after I got it in my hands. I don't want to be that type of person. But anyway, that'll be about it for this video. I will have a link to covertinstruments.com in the description if you want to check out any of the stuff that I mentioned, whether that be the butterfly comb with the new expansions, the Reaper expansion for the Grav Pick, or the Apex loaded set. And yeah, that'll be about it. Thanks for watching, everyone. I will talk to you all later.